All right, how's it going, everybody? Nick Atkin here. It is the One Championship podcast back again. 2 podcasts in 2 days. How lucky you are. Well, I had to do one because some big breaking news last night. I couldn't do it last night because it was too late for me. So I'm doing it this morning in Asia time at 11 a.m. Hope you're all enjoying this new time slot. We're trying it out, seeing what happens. But the big news is, of course, John DiBella has got his wish, got his rematch with Prajanchai. Finally. It's been a while, long time coming. The fight is official. Strawweight kickboxing unification match, October 4th in Bangkok. One fight night, 36, I believe. Hope I got all those dates and numbers right. A lot of numbers flying around in these days. Friday fights, fight nights, numbered events. Oh, yeah. And you got to always think about the date because they put on the poster the wrong date. They put it on a Friday, for American time, even though it's in Asia. I don't like that. I know they're trying to be all American, but this is Asia. We're doing this fight in Bangkok. Let's have the day that it actually happens, please, which is Saturday, October 4th. It is Saturday morning. Let me know your thoughts on the fight. Sadly, I won't be there. I'm going to be here in Hong Kong still. Something about DiBella, I'm cursed. I always miss his fights. I missed his first 3, I think, in one championship. Caught the last few, luckily. But, yeah, something about the timing. So my baby's going to be born late September, so I'm going to be in Hong Kong for a little bit just to help out and get used to everything. Planning to be in Japan, though, for November 16th. But sadly, I'm going to miss this show and the November fight night. Of course, it's the price you pay. It's a big matchup, but I'll be watching at home. I think so. Well, it's going to be difficult because I'm staying up late. That's the plan with the baby. And this fight is in the morning. So I don't know, maybe I have to pull a weird nocturnal all-nighter, go to bed at midday or something. It's going to be brutal. But anyway, how are you all doing? Official Lewis asks, I am good. Yeah, I hope you're good. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's a weird time. Hopefully people will adjust and get used to it. Also, I have an interview later today with Stamp Fairtex, none other than Stamp. So I was thinking of running the show live in a few hours. I think it starts in 3 hours. I interview her. I just wasn't sure if that time would be even worse. So let me know if you would like me to run that interview live. I can do a kind of one-off live interview Q&A. If enough of you are around and want to ask her questions, I'm happy to do it. Let me know throughout the course of the show. Maybe I'll run a poll or something if that's possible. I don't really know how to do it. I'll have a look. I'm not very good with the StreamYard interface. They've changed everything around at the moment. Edit layout. Oh, what have I done there? See, I just pressed something weird. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend a day sometime soon just figuring out all these new changes. I don't know what I'm doing. But yes, that's the big news. We're going to talk about it, how it came together, as much as I can say, and what could happen, some of the big important factors. Here is Anonymous, though. Shout out to Anonymous as well. Another one of my members, just like Official Lewis. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support. Really appreciate it. It really helps me do more of these things when people not just subscribe to the channel, become members, help me out. Every little helps. I know everyone's asking for money these days for all their channels and subscriptions and things. So it is what it is. I have contributors like Giuliano who helps me on the video front. I'm hoping to use him more and more when I'm in Thailand to get original content for you. But so yes, I appreciate all my members like Lewis and Anonymous. Anyway, thoughts on a leaf being sour over having to wait. My thoughts, LOL. So I don't know if he's sour. I saw a post from him on Facebook, right? I think I felt it was sarcastic more than sour. What's his page on there? I forget. Alif something. Iman Alif, that's it. How am I not following him? So this is my other Facebook page. Right. So yeah, he said, let me show it on screen for you guys just so you can see. I will edit. Oh, there it is. Share screen. Okay. So the message was, how much longer do I have to wait? And then a smirk face. I didn't know it was too sour from him. I think he is. When I spoke to him after he beat El Jamari, we did an interview on here, and I asked him, you know, if you, because they had the face off with Prajanchai, and I said something along the lines of, would you understand John DiBella's frustration? Because DiBella was posting a few things on social saying, you know, yeah, it looks like Prajanchai ducking me or whatever. And he said something along the lines to me of, yeah, I understand why he'd be upset and frustrated. I would be too. So I don't think he's. I think he's probably accepting of this development, and you know, it won't be too long. I think before he gets Prajanchai, probably early next year. I would hazard a guess, unless you know Prajanchai steamrolls John, knocks him out, wants a quick turnaround. Who knows? They could fit it in this year, but I don't think that'll happen. I think this will be 5 rounds of war, and I think both guys are going to leave it all out there. So it might be tough for a quick turnaround like that, whether he wins or loses. But yeah, I don't know. Have I missed some other comments from him elsewhere? This is what I saw, basically, from Alif, and I didn't think it was too sour. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Anonymous, another comment says, ask Stamp if she plans on challenging Pet Gigi if the Kana fight goes well. Definitely will. Yeah. If you have any questions, please leave them here. If you're awake at the time, if I do it live and you're awake, please join and ask questions. I can put a few questions to Stamp from you guys, as long as they're not weird or ridiculous. Lewis again, 2 p.m. is perfect for me. Have to go in 30 minutes. Yeah, this stream won't be long. It's just a quick one to discuss the DiBella Prajanchai news. But I will, yeah, I'm thinking to run that one live again. Just why not? It'd be a bit of fun. Get Gary Tonin on the show, Lewis asked. Yeah, I could reach out to Gary. I've just sent a bunch of interview requests to various people. I think at least 15 names. So we'll see how many come back. But yeah, Gary would be good. I can't remember where he lives. I think Texas. I don't know what the time is in Texas now. Austin. Time in Austin, Texas. I think it might be a bit better than. Yeah, it's okay. They are 13 hours back. Not impossible. I'll reach out to him. We'll see. I wonder, he might be a little bit upset about that decision, but let's see what happens. But yes, this fight is official. It has been decreed, and I'm happy because I was a little bit worried, about this fight not happening. You know, it was I was hearing some whispers, some rumors of other things, like maybe Alif would get the shot first. I mean, we all saw that. We all saw the face off when those two faced off in the ring. I thought, here we go. John is going to have to wait for this one to play out. And to me, it was a bit ridiculous just because I felt, John deserved that chance ever since he won the belt against the interim belt against Sam A in Tokyo. I felt John DiBella had locked up the rematch with Prajanchai, and I thought, it would happen in the summer. Then, Prajanchai had his fight with Ellis Barbosa, I think in April. So you thought, okay, he's going to need a bit of time after that, but maybe we can still get it in July, something like that. Then, it was June, July. I started hearing. I think it was July. Yeah, I started hearing whispers. Obviously, we had the Alif thing was June, I think, or so it looked like Alif and Prajanchai would be the next fight for Prajanchai. Then I think around July, I started hearing things. Yeah, maybe DiBella and Prajanchai actually could be next. things happened very quickly. It had been thought. I'm trying to say what I can here without revealing too much, but I think it was hopeful. It was hoped from some that it might happen in November in this Tokyo card. But have you seen this Tokyo card? It's so full now. It's so packed up. They've already got 4 title fights, I think, and some other big fights on that. And they maybe could squeeze in another one, but I think it makes more sense to do this fight in Thailand. And there were rumblings of maybe having a big Impact Arena show in Bangkok in the summer, which I think would have been perfect for this fight. But then that didn't materialize, that show. There was talk, I think, of a tentpole happening at Impact in June, July, and Superbon Noiri was the plan for that. Didn't materialize. So then Superbon Noiri got pushed back to November. And Dibella Prajanchai was just kind of left in limbo. And Prajanchai, then looked like he might just carry on in Muay Thai for a bit, do the elite fight. So I think, Dibella's side, it was looking like what's going to happen here. They were still hoping for November, I think, Tokyo, but things moved very quickly then in July, and it all came together for October. I've known about it for a little bit of time. Couldn't say anything. If you watched the show yesterday, you would have seen me stumbling over my words a little bit like this. Someone asked about that fight, and I was being a bit trying to think what I could say and couldn't. I knew this fight's going to happen, and I'm very happy they actually announced it later that same day, because I don't know how long I could have kept pretending I didn't know it's going to happen. So it's on, and that is good for one. I think the smart decision. You can't have an interim champ in a division and then have Prajanchai. If Prajanchai, as I've said all along, if Prajanchai has an interim champion in one of his divisions, he has to go and clear out that division first before fighting a new contender in the Muay Thai division. If Alif was an interim champion as well, I could see, you can do either of those fights. It's sort of subjective, but he simply, for me, had to go and handle business first with Dibella. And win or lose, he's still got the Alif fight there. So I'm glad One Championship did this. I just wish it was a month that I can go and watch it, obviously. So I'm sad I will miss it. But yes, NG in the house. What is up, NG? How are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, I'm back at it. Back-to-back days. I'm trying to do more of these. If people like them and they enjoy it, I'll be doing more and more. I'm just glad, because I was about to lose this room to my newborn child, and I was going to have to take down all the stuff behind me. But there was a sudden swerve a couple of days ago where my missus decided, actually, this room is horrible, and you might be able to hear the loud AC rumbling away, because it's a unit, one of those units that sticks outside of the window, so it's very loud. And it's pretty horrible in here, pretty dark and grim. So she thought it'd be nicer to go in her. She has we each have like a home office thing, home studio. She does her videos across the hall here in her room, and it's much bigger, much more spacious, much nicer, much more sunlight. It's at the front of the building. So she decided she'll just put everything in there. So I've dodged the bullet. I will be keeping my studio. So I'm going to finally put up a few more of these posters I've been putting off for months. I haven't put this one up yet, but this was Chris Penang on Instagram. He gave me, he used to give me, he hasn't done it for a while, but he would give me these posters, the cardboard things. And he'd give me one, and he'd give another one for him, and then I'd get the fighters, the winners, to sign it on each card. So I got most of the winners on the Tokyo card last time, including John Dibella. Here he is. You can see JDB. Got Rod Tang. This is probably worth a lot of money in a weird way, but I will find a nice prominent place on the wall for it. I also got this one. Oh, I got a bunch over here. Yeah. This is the Japanese poster of the fight. You can also see behind me. This one is Prajanchai Superbon from Japan. I haven't put this one up either. Nabil, Nico. Yes, plenty of these posters. Damn, I'm really slacking here. I'll get these up. Now I'm staying in my room. I've been putting up redecorating because I thought, well, I'm gonna be kicked out of here soon. So yeah, we'll have a little overhaul of the set, so to speak, and we'll do more shows. Yeah, gorillas are cool animals. Is upset. It seems that it's 11 p.m. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's 11 a.m. here. And I'm trying to prioritize what works for me. After years of, I've been doing these late shows for years and years, and it takes a lot out of me. It's normally fine. It's just I've also the last 4 or 5 months been a bit more consistent. Well, very much more consistent with forcing myself to go to the gym 4-5 times a week. This gym here in Hong Kong, Warrior, and Muay Thai gym. I'm not doing Muay Thai yet, but that's the plan. I'm just doing strength and conditioning 4 or 5 times a week. But yeah, Monday to Thursday it's evenings, so I get back usually around 9:15 p.m. and then I gotta eat something, shower, and by the time it's stream time, maybe if I'm lucky, I could jump on at 10 p.m. It's usually I'm pretty tired, so yeah, Mondays is not too bad because there's a bit slightly earlier class, so I can get home by 8 o'clock. But yeah, I'm just seeing if these morning shows work. I plan to start a little earlier than 11, like 10:30. But we had a bit of drama here. It's pretty gloomy outside. You can see there's black rain. They call it in Hong Kong, which is basically like a shit ton of rain, thunderstorms. It's pretty serious, huge downfalls. So my dogs, I had to try and walk. I got 2 dogs, trying to walk them as well. So I was waiting for the right time when the rain died down a bit to walk them. So I was waiting. Finally, there was a window opportunity about 10:15, so I had to delay the start of this show till 11. I'm sorry, but we're here now. We're talking. I've done this, a leaf. Get Vero on too, Anonymous says. Yeah, I've tried to get her on before. I think I didn't follow up with it, but I'll speak to Johnny Betts, the main man at Tiger Muay Thai. I will. That's good. Let me message him now, actually. Now that I remember it. But yeah, Vero will be a good one. I asked for Itsuki Hirata this week. No one replied to me on that. Hopefully I can get her after her fight. I'm thinking to do a live show on Friday during the first half of Friday fights, and then get Itsuki on if she wins, and we'll just talk through the card while it's happening. And I'm also maybe gonna have Johan Ghazali during that time slot live. So as I said, I'm stepping things up with the live shows. Gonna have more live fighters, guests, because people seem to like that. If you like that, let me know. If you want more recorded interviews, let me know. But I think it's fun for you guys. Get to ask questions as well, and it's easy for me. You don't have to edit the video. It's just there after you finish. Darkside, what's up? Good to see you, old school. Call up JDB. He ain't doing anything. He's at a Yankee game and they losing. LOL. I messaged him earlier, asking for a quick comment, and he said, "Yeah, for sure. But let me get back to you." I figured he's busy. I didn't know he's at a Yankee game, so there it is. Of course, it's a shame. Yeah, it was. He's in New York. I think. Yeah, obviously, but I saw him in New York this time last year, or after that Denver show last year. I was hoping. Yeah, like I said yesterday, we were meant to all be in Denver for one championship, like a couple of weeks ago. So probably would have gone to New York after that, and maybe caught up with him and their family again. That's a shame. It was very fun to bump into them last time. Literally bumped into DiBella in Italy. You know, it's not Italy, Italy, the Eataly. Sort of a fancy cluster of Italian themed restaurants and stores, products, gifts, things like that. Where is it in New York? You know, it's by the Flatiron Building, wherever that district is. I don't know. I'm still pretty bad on New York geography. Yeah, it's a nice area. So I was planning to see him and his parents and his now fiance. We were going to get dinner with my missus. But then literally earlier that day, I was in the same place, and he came up and grabbed me from behind. We had a hug and a little chat. It was good. Things have changed for John a lot in that time. Since then, he was still looking for a fight back then. He had just lost his belt to Prajanchai. Well, I think it was already vacant. Yeah, he lost it on the scale, and then they rebooked the fight. He didn't win the belt, so he was hurting a little bit, and he was trying to get back in there. Things were a little delayed. But then he got the Rui Botello fight in December. You know, he had been looking for something in Atlanta in November that year, which ended up being moved to Bangkok, if you remember. And then, yeah, I think he was a little frustrated then. He just, there's a fire inside John. He's such a competitor. He wants to prove, that Prajanchai fight was not the right decision. And I think if it was possible, he's stepped up a level since then. He looked incredible against Rui Botello. He looked even better against Sam A in Tokyo in March this year when he won the interim belt. So I'm keen to see what John DiBella shows up in Bangkok in October. And I think this fight could be fight of the year, because Prajanchai doesn't look like he's slowing down at all. He looked incredible against Ellis Barboza. I didn't think Prajanchai looked at his best against DiBella either, which sounds weird to say because he still fought incredibly well. But I don't think kickboxing is Prajanchai's best trait. He looks much better in Muay Thai. So I think a lot of people didn't give John DiBella a chance in that fight. He proved them all wrong, and he's continued to show just how elite he is against Rui, who I think is also a very good, underrated fighter, and then Sam A, was having a renaissance. We saw what he did to Zhang Peimian, and that wasn't an easy fight. And John schooled Sam A. It was a domination. I think Prajanchai, if you've got a chance to beat Prajanchai, it's in kickboxing, because it's not his rule set. So I think, and yet you've got bigger gloves, so I think you don't have to worry too much, and you have to worry about the elbows. So I think John will fancy his chances here. He thought he won the first fight. His camp did, his whole team. A lot of fans did. A lot of people in the stadium did. The judges did not. It was pretty heavy for Prajanchai. It was some cards had 4 rounds to 1 for him. I thought 3-2 DiBella at the time watching. I've since gone back and watched it again and thought it could be 3-2 either way. I've still leaned to John, but those first 3 rounds are very close, or especially the first 2, I think it was. I need to watch it again. It's a great fight. 4 and 5, I think you give to Prajanchai, and I remember Angelo, John's dad, saying to John the next day, like, you let him back in, like 4 and 5. If I think the plan, they'll have to, from what I can see, John's doing, they've been working on the conditioning so that he doesn't fade in this rematch, that he can go all 5 rounds. You saw against Sam A, he went all 5 rounds, full steam. He didn't slow down. So I think that'll be the plan. Don't give any encouragement to the judges, to the opponent. That has to be the plan, because Prajanchai, I've said before, I think his top definitely top 10, but could be top 5 pound for pound in one championship across all the disciplines. But definitely Muay Thai, you'd be top 5, or I think maybe 6th. I did it recently, did a ranking for combat sports today. Not sure when that will see the light, but I gave my choices, and I think I had Prajanchai like 5th, 6th. I'm not sure, but it'll be fun to discuss that when it comes out. We'll see when Combat Sports Today gets it on. But a few of us did some unofficial pound for pound Muay Thai rankings. But yeah, Prajanchai is incredible. It's gonna be a good fight. So Chitko, what's up? Myanmar in the house. Keep it all, Darkside says. Your daughter retirement right there. She can sell it 50 years from now. I think that's for the posters. Oof. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure how much that poster will be worth. Probably won't pay for school fees in Hong Kong. Very expensive. Let's see. How many kilos are you down? Seems like you lost a lot of face fat, Lewis said. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I don't think I'm down anything. I'm up, if anything. I weighed this morning, I was 96.6 kilos, which for me seems like a lot. I've been hovering around 80, the high 80s, the last 3 years. But I think I put on a lot of muscle, so because I've actually seen a decrease in fat, but way higher weight on the scale, which I can't really explain unless it's more muscle. So I'm hoping now I've peaked, because I was hitting like 97, 98 kilos a month ago or something, or a few weeks ago. Now I'm down to 96 and a half nearly. Starting to up I'm doing a lot more walking. Yeah, lately. I'm just trying to burn more calories, and then going to start upping the cardio element once my body can handle it, because I basically, broken my body down for the last 8 years. Since I moved to Hong Kong, I've not really been the healthiest lifestyle, and I've been on and off with the gym. I'm trying to just now build my body back up, but I'm doing it the right way. I've done a lot of fad diets over my time in the last 5 years or so. Like did a lot of keto, and I would see incredible results, but then pile it all back on and then some. So I'm now just finally trying to do a slow and steady wins the race type deal. Yeah, I don't know if any of you care, but since Lewis asked, yes, I'm just trying to lose the weight very slowly at a sustainable rate that doesn't feel like I'm changing too much, that I can't handle. People tell me that's the best way to do it. People who I value their advice, nutritionists and things like that. So that's the plan. Hopefully, the main problem is the gut still. I'm trying to shake that. But I appreciate you noticing, Lewis. Thank you. I think my face, it looks a little less. Yeah, that's the plan. Tell JDB to work on that left hook. Darkside says seems to be working on all the ties in kickboxing. Well, if you're watching, John, Darkside says work on that left hook. I'm sure they will have a good game plan in place. Very, very meticulous team there. Team DiBella. They will have been thinking about this fight for more than a year, and they will have been planning for it. So they will know what they did wrong last time, and they will, I think, correct that. Anonymous says, I will vomit if Prajanchai wins. Well, yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people were upset at that result, and they've been calling for the rematch, including the DiBella team. So it's do or die now. It's all or nothing. John's gone and got an interim belt back, as he was calling for. If he doesn't deliver in the rematch, I don't think he's going to be able to go and win another interim belt. They probably won't do that for him. And you can't be a 2-time interim champ, can you? It's a bit weird. So there'll be a lot of pressure on him. He's got to deliver now. It's the biggest fight of his life, but I think he will handle that pressure, knowing him. So let's see. I'm just looking forward to the fight. It's going to be great. Round 1 says, that one championship pay-per-view looking so stacked. The main card looks like nothing but champs. I think you are referring to Tokyo pay-per-view. Yes, it is looking very, very stacked. I can show it briefly on here. Share screen. All right. Yeah, we had a little look yesterday, but it looks awesome. Superbon, Noiri, Rugrug Malakin, Yuya Pasho, Denise Ayaka. 4 title fights as it stands. Yuki versus Superlek, Stamp versus Kana. And as I said yesterday, yeah, there are more fights I know of that have been signed, which will be announced soon. I'm sure this card is very, very good, but there's not much space left. So in a way, I think that's good. I want to see more big fights on other events. Spread them out. Don't just have everything on one card. But I do like when they stack the cards. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. So it's nice. But I just wish, we could get this level of card more consistently in one, at least 4 times a year. 4 pay-per-views a year would be amazing. They had what was it? Yeah, Bangkok 1170 pay-per-view. They had 172 pay-per-view, and then they got this one. It would be nice if there had been one in the summer. Maybe Denver was the plan. I don't know if that was going to be pay-per-view, but yeah, and then build out from there. Have 5 pay-per-views, then 6. If they ran a card this size every 2 months, I think the whole state of one championship would be obviously a lot healthier, and the buzz would be a lot bigger, and that has to be the plan. It's tough to go 7 months between, or 6 months between, big pay-per-view cards like this. You need to keep that consistent buzz. But I'm looking forward to it. And there it is. They've announced it. It's on the website. It is official. DiBella and Prajanchai. And also went under the radar slightly. They announced a bantamweight submission grappling fight between Fabricio Andre and Eduardo Granzotto, who I don't know who that is, but I remember Fabricio Andre. He's quite a fun character. And I thought maybe they'll make a title for him, but it doesn't seem like they have. Let's see. But I don't know anything. Oh, I do know something else for this card, which I think you will all enjoy as well. I don't know when it'll be announced, but I think it's been signed. As I said yesterday, these fight nights are looking a little healthier again now, which is good. I've been calling for that for a while, to have, a really big title fight, preferably 2 on each of these fight night cards in case one of them falls through. And then, because a lot of these fight night cards have been solid, but they haven't had that big headliner, which you need, and I think they're starting to get back to that. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one on the screen just for people's reference in case they are late to the show. We are talking about John DiBella and Prajanchai rematch being official. There it is. I put it up on Instagram last night after the gym. Thank you to PK Science Gym and Team DiBella Kickboxing for the collabs. It's got a lot of buzz on it. I enjoy. Thank you very much. But yeah, some other big fights been announced lately too. This one I like. Ubaid Hussein versus Patnakian rematch for Friday Fights 121, which is next week. That card's starting to look good too. But the big news, yes, Prajanchai and DiBella back at it. I'm glad it's being booked. All right, I'll look at your comments here. Darkside again saying, Nick, who is Takeru fighting? Come on, you can tell us. I know who it is. I can't tell you. or I get in trouble. Yeah, I'm thinking that'll be revealed soon. I wish I could say more. Sorry. I know who it is. Yeah, it's a good one. I think you'll enjoy it. Makes sense for both sides. I think it's probably the one I would have gone with. I can tell you that. Let me. Yeah, there was a list of people Takeru was choosing from, basically. He's a big deal in one. He gets to choose his own opponents for this one. So because he was going to retire, but they convinced him to stay. So he wanted to find the right opponent. I think he wants a challenge, but also someone he probably would be confident of beating. And I think this is the right matchup for him. The one he has chosen. There was a long list, of names. Everyone was throwing their hat in, you saw it. Prajanchai was calling him out. DiBella wanted it. And they're both strawweights. But I think a lot of people see Takeru as this wounded animal now in one after Rodtang knocked him out and Tanzin dropped him. They see a chance to build their name off of him on his way out. Big fight for Takeru. If he loses this one, I think he's got to retire. If he wins, you can put him back in the mix, maybe for a Rodtang rematch. I still don't know what you do with Takeru after this fight he's going to have. I don't see him beating Superlek or Rodtang. So then what do you do with him? He's not going to get a belt unless what I would be tempted to do if I was one championship. It's a bit cynical, but I would just probably speak to Superlek and say, look, are you going to come back to flyweight? It's been a year and a half since you defended that belt. And I know he fought at flyweight against Kong Tony in Muay Thai just over a year ago. I think it was May last year. So, but I would say, look, are you serious about it? Do you want to stay at bantamweight? You seem to be happy there. You like to eat, I know. If you're not willing to go back to flyweight, I think we need to strip you of the belt, or you give it up graciously. And let's see, because he might beat Yuki Yoza, then challenge Jonathan Haggerty for the bantamweight kickboxing belt. If he loses to Yuki Yoza, maybe it's time he goes back to flyweight, because I think a dedicated Superlek at flyweight is a dangerous. No one can stop him. Not Rodtang in Muay Thai or kickboxing. So I think it depends on that Yuki Yoza fight. If he beats Yuki Yoza, he's got to go challenge Haggerty. And then if you beat Haggerty, then you're going to have talk of him with Nabil again. So I think Superlek's future is tied up at bantamweight. I would, vacate the flyweight belt. Sorry, it's a roundabout point I'm making. Then I would, let's say Rodtang gets this Muay Thai. It sounds like Rodtang is going to fight Nongo for the vacant flyweight Muay Thai belt. I then think you can be a little bit creative. You can say, well, look, Rodtang is tied up with Muay Thai. We're going to have Takeru fight because he's doing a flyweight fight in Japan, obviously, kickboxing. You call it, if he gets a win there, you then say Takeru's going to fight for the vacant flyweight kickboxing belt in Japan on the next card early next year. And you find someone, again, a decent challenge, but someone he can beat. And then Takeru is your champion, flyweight kickboxing. And it's just about okay. Then you can do the Rodtang Takeru rematch down the line in kickboxing. Once Takeru's built his confidence back up a bit, and that's probably if Takeru then loses again to Rodtang, I think he can then walk away from his career happy. He achieved what he wanted to do. He won a title and one championship. And he said he just got married, right? And he said, this is the final chapter of my career. He was already close to walking away, but I think that to me would be the perfect ending. Win or lose, going out against Rodtang in a rematch, with the belt on the line. And Rodtang doesn't need the kickboxing belt as well. I know a lot of people saying, well, why is Takeru going to challenge for the kickboxing belt? Rodtang beat him. He should get. That's what I say. You get a bit creative. You say Rodtang's tied up in Muay Thai. Superleg's gone up to bantamweight. If this is how you do it, if you're a promoter, you want your biggest stars, and we've seen one aren't afraid to get creative, shall we say. You want belts on your biggest stars. And Takeru is a huge star for them in Japan and beyond. So it makes a lot of sense for them to get a title on him before he retires. Anyway, is it going to be a pay-per-view? Anonymous says. It is, I think, yeah. It must be the plan. And fingers crossed to the pay-per-view gods, it doesn't break down like last time. I think if it does, then yeah, there will be hell to pay. But I think they're still using the same company, so there's always a risk. I was hoping maybe they would go to DAZN or something after that fiasco, but they're still using Watch One FC, their own in-house thing. Just hope it doesn't break down. That'll be unacceptable. Yeah, they would deserve every ounce of criticism they get if that happened again. Right. I can't wait for the next Prime card. Round One says, yeah. We had a little look yesterday. I can show it on screen again. Here you go. So, Jackie and Stella. Yeah, this is a good show as well. All right, good card. Now, yeah, I've reached out for interviews with a few of these people. Jackie, Stella, Bampara, Shadow, Akbar. Well, so many of them, yeah. Don't know if I'll get all of them. This is a good card. And, some people don't like the shorter cards. I really do. I really like 8 fights. I think they are. As long as you're getting people booked on other events, I don't mind an 8-fight Prime card. If you get a few more of them on Friday fights, you do more numbered events, then it's fine. But yeah, that is the next card. But man, this past month, them fight night cards have been better than UFC and boxing pay-per-views because of the action, says Round One. The highlights of One beats UFC and boxing highlights. Just my opinion. I like the cards, and I always say this, on paper, these cards may not look too exciting, but they always deliver, always action, always knockouts and submissions, finishes. 4-ounce Muay Thai is just guaranteed carnage. Just like I said, I wish they had more big title fights on them as well, just to add a little extra appeal. But anyway, it's all moot. I think it surprises me. Yeah, it's not taken off more in America. I think One refuses to give up on America because they know if they can just get to these fans and these fans see the crazy carnage of 4-ounce Muay Thai, they'll fall in love with it. And it is working a lot more than ever in the last 2.5 years. I think Friday fights has really helped. It's what I don't really, maybe I don't understand everything, but I hear more buzz from American fans about Friday fights than about the Prime fight night shows, even though those are on in better time zone. I feel like there's more buzz about the morning shows in America, which are Friday fights. Am I wrong? Am I right? Let me know. But I don't think time zone matters too much. If you're a fan, you're going to seek it out. Maybe I'm being naive, and long term, you do need a prime time presence in America. But I'm just an old school guy, and I think whatever market you're in, you run the show for prime time in that location. You know, that's why Friday fights are so awesome. And the atmosphere is just crazy. And then when you're there in the morning for fight nights, crowd do their best to get up for it, but it's tough. It's 8 a.m., you know. Everyone's a bit tired. I think better for one to focus on serving those markets. Then when the time is right, serve the American market by going to America more often. Not jumping the gun on that, but getting all their ducks in a row in Asia, then going to America and putting on 3-4 shows a year in prime time there. Or you do a smaller scale monthly thing there. Find a small venue, couple thousand people in a fight town like Colorado. Who knows? But could be expensive. The only Fabricio we rate is Fabricio Andrade, Anonymous says. Anonymous wants Orgo Bataku against Andrade. I think Fabricio and Andrade wins that fight easily. Sorry, what I want to see is Stephen Lohman back against the Tormentor. And then the winner of that can fight Andrade. I like the Tormentor, and he's reeled off a lot of wins, but I don't think he's beaten anyone of the class required to challenge for the belt. Not that is... that often goes out the window in one championship, but, you know, you've seen people debut with title shots who are not at the level of other people already in the company. But I think Stephen Lohman is probably the best bet. He just needs a fight and needs a win. And I think he wants a fight. They offered him Orgo recently, but he felt he didn't have enough time to prepare for it. I think he was given it on a month's notice or slightly less, but I think a month. But he said, I wanted like a full 8 weeks to really prepare for him on the ground. So he knows what Tormentor's going to do. Yeah, Mongolia. I mean, I've been very impressed, Darkside, with Orgo. But, you know, when he fought Artem Belak, he lost. And Belak is not in the company anymore, I know. But I think that was a step up in competition from some of the guys he'd been fighting. He's been beating. I need to see him against a tougher opponent before. Yeah, can he fight John Lineker? Can we get Lineker back from Muay Thai? I don't know if we're going to see Lineker and Andrade anytime soon again. But we need a fight for Fabricio. That is obvious. I need to drop that tentpole announcement soon. Darkside says, yeah. I think there's going to be a September tentpole with Rodtang and Nongo, just from what I'm hearing, but nothing official. So maybe plans have changed. I mean, you did see Condition Nutrition post about they just started their camp. In fact, they want a fight camp with Rodtang. So I don't know. It's 5 weeks. I think it's 5 weeks out from that proposed, if it's going to be late September type of thing. Is there enough time? It's August 15th now. Let's say they fight. If it's September, I think Rodtang, we would want at least 4 weeks to prepare for Nongo, so that puts it into late September. I'm wondering whether it's maybe going to be on the fight night card with DeBella and Prajanchai. Who knows? I got a feeling it'll be a late September tentpole. And then the only question is, does Nabil and versus Haggerty happen on that show too? Or is that being saved for November? Whether it's Japan or November fight night? I think a fight of that magnitude, I would be tempted to slide it onto the Japan card, you know, because it's going to be your biggest event of the year. And I think if I'm one championship, I look at Nabil and I see he's the future of this company. I build my company around Nabil. I think Nabil is the next superstar, and that word superstar is bandied around a bit, obviously, but in one championship, you've got two superstars. And when I say superstar, I mean someone who breaches mainstream consciousness, and that is Rod Tang and Stamp Fairtex. You can argue all you want, but no one else is on their level. I think Nabil can get there. So I would put Nabil on my biggest show of the year, which is Japan. Just for all that awareness. It's going to be the most watched show and the most hyped. I know there's a counter argument for having him on Thai TV, free TV, like Channel 7 for tentpole. But, last tentpole was headlined by Sewer Black versus Sangati in a kickboxing match. Neither of those guys are natural kickboxers. So, and that show drew something like a 31.2 rating or something like that, which I don't know how Thai TV ratings, whether that's like direct millions of viewers. If it is 30 million viewers, that's crazy. I'm not sure, but it's very high. Yeah. Your average Friday fights card, I think, gets something like a 5 rating, and this was 30 plus. Speaks to the popularity of both Sangatit and Sewer Black. And I think, having Rod Tang and Nongo was enough to pop a similar rating, if not higher, as your main event. I don't think you need two big fights to headline that card. I would save it as a draw for something else. So, is Superbon versus Nori enough to pop huge pay-per-view buys in Thailand? I'm not sure. Because Rod Tang's not on that card. I would save Nabil versus Haggerty for that. And I'd be tempted to make it the new co-main above Anatoly and Rug, but I could see them sliding it underneath that one, above Yuya and Joshua Pasho, above Denise and Ayaka. And it breaks up the MMA a bit. I know Japan loves MMA, but I think you want to establish Muay Thai there as well, not just obviously kickboxing and MMA is their big traditions, but there should be a Muay Thai title fight on that card, and I think Nabil is the perfect guy to do it. He is very, very popular. He's growing popularity around the world, and I think they enjoyed him there last time. So as it stands, yeah, no Muay Thai on that card. I think Nadaka will be on there and Shimon maybe. We'll see. That's just my thoughts on it. Rod Tang versus Nongo. Imagine if Uncle beats him. Yeah. Imagine. When do you think we get another card in America? Round one says. I would think it will be. Well, on the schedule, it's June next year. Round one. So we know there's probably. You'd imagine they've given a deposit to the Ball Arena and made that official. I would stick to that plan. I wouldn't rush back anytime before that. I think they only want to go there if Stamp is healthy, I think, because like I said earlier, there's two superstar people in one, mainstream, Rod Tang and Stamp. You want them both on that card. You use this time now before that to build Nabil up as well to potentially reach that next level. Because I think Nabil can connect with Gen Z or whatever the new Gen is. I think even younger than Gen Z. He's only 21. I think he's got a way, of just connecting to that audience, and he's very social media savvy. I think Nabil's the next guy, and he's got that interesting look, and he's a nice guy as well. He's an incredible fighter, vicious, humble as well. All right. Yeah, I think June will be Denver, and then I wouldn't. I think the problem they've had is saying the last couple of years we're going to go 4 times this year, and they just kind of got everyone's expectations up, and then 4 became 2, then 2 became 1. You know, like the Spice Girls said, when 2 becomes 1, I need some love like I never needed love before. An old reference, 1990s pop music. Remember the Spice Girls? All right, so yeah, I wouldn't expect them to go back in 2026. I would just focus, if I'm them, putting on one really good show in Denver and then see what happens. But use the time before that to establish yourselves in Thailand and keep establishing yourself in Thailand and Japan. And I would actually prioritize going to Manila and Kuala Lumpur, maybe Singapore again. I would say Manila and Kuala Lumpur higher than Singapore, because you've got Filipino champions right now, Denise Pasio and Jackie, and you've got Islay coming up. And in Malaysia, you've got Jojo is a phenomenal superstar in terms of popularity, and you've got Alif and Rifteen, Mastor. To strike while the iron's hot there. Singapore, you don't really have any homegrown. That's the problem, I think. It always has been. You know, you had the Lees were sort of meant to be from Singapore, but they weren't really. They had like a little bit of Singaporean heritage through their father, I think. But the Lees consider themselves more Canadian/American. I think they were born in Canada and they've grown up in America, and then more Korean even than Singaporean. So yes, there's not really been any huge homegrown Singapore success in one championship. And that might be down to the fact it's not really a fight town, you know, like Bangkok, like Thailand, fight country. But we'll see, things can change. Maybe Muay Thai will be better for them than MMA, and we could have some Singaporean Muay Thai stars. That, I think that's what's happened in Malaysia. They tried to grow the MMA stars there in one, like Aguilan Tani and Jihin Radzuan and a few others, Ayman. And just none of them reached the. I think Jihin and Aguilan got the closest. Aguilan was a title challenger for Ben Askren, but he's left one now, and Jihin's kind of spinning her wheels a bit. I'm not sure she'll ever get to that title level. Who knows? But if maybe they but now they're getting recognition through Muay Thai, and I think Malaysian fans didn't really know what Muay Thai was before, but now they see the success of Alif, of Jojo, of Rifteen, and they're all aboard. They love success. Who doesn't? So maybe in Singapore we can find some Muay Thai talent. Who knows? Right. I will do a few more minutes because we're about to hit an hour. I'll just answer some questions. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. They have a lot of fights they can make. Darkside says they should load up Fight Night and Friday fight shows bi-weekly. Yeah, I agree. So does NG. NG says, to be a star, I think you need some sort of unique or freak factor. Rodtang has his iron chin and stamp dance. Nabil def looks like a freak, so I think he can get up there. NG's words, not mine. No, Nabil has, let's say, an interesting body shape. Yes, he's extremely tall, lean, but muscular, and yeah, he's got a unique look that you can market and sell. Diesel Noi of the new generation. Darkside says, I think they can cook with Ursel right now. I don't know what happened, but his buzz grew rapidly with his last win. He was being talking about a lot compared to his other wins. Yeah, I think for Ursel, I didn't really talk about, I didn't do a post-fight show on that, but I wanted to talk about, I think if I'm him, I would push for more Muay Thai fights, because we know how good he is in kickboxing, but he hits so damn hard. If you put him in those 4-ounce gloves, it's lights out for everyone. You know, in kickboxing, he can put on the technical masterclass. He still hits hard, of course, and he's knocked guys out in kickboxing, but the gloves are bigger. I think Ursel with 4 ounces just illegal, as I said on Twitter. So if I'm him, I'm pushing for more Muay Thai fights. If I'm one, I'm gonna pivot to that. I'm gonna be like, look, let's have Ursel versus Rung Rawi Muay Thai title defense in, I don't know, October, something like that. November fight night, maybe it could headline. But Ursel deserves as well, I think, to be on one of these big arena shows. I don't think he'll get on Japan because it's fully booked. But yeah, I'm sure he's happy to still do these Bangkok fight nights. So I would have him against Rung Rawi. Let's see what he can do there. If he can get another big knockout, you're going to start growing his buzz and his reputation even more. It doesn't hurt. To have. I think, yeah, Muay Thai is an easier way for Ursel to grow his rep and his fame in one championship than kickboxing. Kickboxing still, I don't think, has reached the level in one, among one's Thai fan base, especially the Japanese fans love it, and some of the global fans, the Western fans. But if you're not going to fight Ursel on Japanese cards, I'd have him fight. If you're going to keep him on Thai cards, I'd have him do more Muay Thai and just knock balls out, give him 50K bonuses. He's money. He's entertaining. I would tell him also to work a little bit on his self-promotion. I think he's starting to put the pieces together on what he needs to do to promote himself. He's asking for one to promote him more, but he needs to promote himself a little bit more, I've always said, and I think he's starting to do that. He's getting good on the mic. There's some nice moments in our interview, some good call outs. You can't just sit there and expect someone to do it all for you. The best fighters in the ring sometimes are the worst out of it. They think their talent alone should be enough to get them all these opportunities and stuff. But one championship, I've said this to a few fighters behind the scenes and their teams and coaches. One championship is essentially what's the word? I don't want to say meritocracy. Is that the right word? I'm Googling it. Yeah, it's not a meritocracy, I want to say. It's not always done on merit. It's done on popularity. I'm sure there's a fancy word for that too, but my brain isn't there this morning. And not in a bad way. I think in one, a lot of opportunities are given out based on how popular are you, how many followers do you have, how much engagement do you get? Because essentially one is still in the phase of growing their product, getting more fans. They are like very, very social media heavy. They pioneered that side of it. They're not striving to put on the most incredible. They don't want here are the two most expensive MMA fighters in the world, the best coming together, because that might be true, but they might be boring and people might not care and even want to pay to see it. People will pay to see someone who's half as talented as that if they have 5 million followers on social media. You know what I mean? It's just the way the world is going. So I tell a few fighters, work on your social game, work on your promotion, get your fan base up, and I guarantee you'll get more opportunities than one. A lot of them ask me, why didn't I get fights? I'm like, because you don't have much going on social, you don't interact, you don't engage, you don't promote yourself on here. You go and fight, and then you grind out a boring win sometimes, and then, well, not boring, but you don't get a spectacular finish, which is what one loves, and then you don't use your mic time to the best you could. You don't make a good call out. You just parrot the standard, well, I'll do whatever one championship wants me to do. I'm happy. You don't do that. You use this is 2025. How people still haven't cottoned on to that. Did they not see Conor McGregor? Did they not see? I mean, just look at George Jarvis. That man less than a year ago, was fighting on Friday fights. He beat Rung Rawi and then didn't get a contract. He gave such a good promo. Chatri called him back into the ring and gave him a contract. And then 2 fights later, he's fighting for the world title. I know it didn't pan out, but his life changed because of a promo in the ring, a 2-minute, 1-minute thing on the mic. Work on that. Work on it, everyone. Anyway, bit on a tangent there. Ursel versus Alsop will sell out. Darkside says, I agree. Also, like the idea of Ursel versus Nabil at some point. I think Nabil is going to go up to lightweight eventually, he told me. Obviously, got to go to featherweight first. But if Ursel's still around when Nabil gets there, that could be a killer fight. John Reddy Kalo says, they need more lightweights in division. I agree. As I was saying yesterday's show, there's a fight happening on Friday Fights next week. Tang Nongo versus Maxim Bakhtin, from Russia. I think both of those guys probably could end up on the main roster. Bakhtin could be fast-tracked if he beats Tang Nongo. So they're working on it. I think you've just got to wait for the Friday Fights ecosystem to bear fruit. All right, I've hit the 1 hour, so I'm going to get out of here. So I've got Stamp Fairtex in a couple hours, so I might be back with a cheeky live interview. We'll see. If not, it's going to be recorded, and I'll put it up later today. But if you are still awake, wherever you are in the world, check back in a couple hours. We'll have Stamp Fairtex. You can get some questions out to Stamp. I'm sure that'll be fun. But I'm going to take a bit of a break now. I'll see you all later. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support. And yeah, check back for Stamp, whether it's live or recorded. And then Friday, we're going to be doing something live during the Friday Fight show. Little watch along / interviews with hopefully Itsuki Hirata if she wins, and maybe a couple others, plus talk of potentially having Johan Ghazali as well live. So there'll be something on tomorrow night, Asia time. So during Friday morning, America time. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it all. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Catch you next time.